And so it's very interesting for me. I have found safety just in the last couple of years through vulnerability and authenticity. And here's what I've found for myself. The more vulnerable and the more authentic I am with other people, the safer they feel as well. Because when they see somebody that gets paid to be perfect and they're not perfect, and they admit that they're not perfect, then they can feel safe enough to admit the same thing. Meaningless, Solomon said, I saw a man who was all alone. And then he goes on in verses 9 and 10, two are better than one because they have a good return for their labor. If either one falls down, the other is there to pick him up, but pity the one who falls and has no one to help them up. Verse 11, also if two lie down together, they will keep warm, but how can they keep warm alone? And then verse 12, though one may be overpowered, two can defend themselves, but a cord of three strands is not quickly broken. And so at this time, I want to show you what safety looks like in the context of community. Because right now, I've just been talking about vulnerability and authenticity and building safe communities, but I actually want to show you what that can look like. And so I'm going to have some couples come up, and Ashley's going to come up and join me. Y'all come on. This is my wife, Ashley, our children's minister. We do life together. We are one flesh. This is a group of people in our lives. Go ahead and circle up and face out. Link arms. Circle in. There you go. Now let me ask you a question. I know you can't see Ashley, but she's here. Now let me ask you a question. Does this look safe to you? Because there are some stones out there that would love to be thrown at Ashley and I. There are some people out there that would love to take us down, figuratively. There are some wolves out there that would love to take us down. And when the hard times come, here's what I know, is that the wolves and the stones would have to go through these couples to get to us. Now let me ask you a question. Does this look safe to you? All right, let me show you something else. Turn in. I told you at the beginning of this message that the tendency for me is to isolate. But these people that you see, these couples, they don't let me isolate. They know us so well, we've given them full permission to look into our lives. These men in this circle know everything about me. These couples know everything that we struggle with as a couple. Now let me ask you a question. Does this look safe to you? What can the enemy bring against us as a couple or against me as a man when I've already confessed it to these people? What stones can be thrown when every one of these people already know my junk? Does this look safe to you? Let me show you something else. Two on that side. Y'all go on that side, dude. Would anybody like to volunteer to come take a shot at me or Ashley and try to knock us down right now? Yeah, it would be hard to do. With the strength that these couples provide us in community, you can't. And if by some reason, if by some miraculous way you were able to knock us down, they would just pick us right back up. Because that's what community does. This is how we grow. When we take a step back, they take a step back with us. When they take a step forward, we take a step forward with them and we grow. Does this look safe to you? Now, there was a time in our lives not so long ago where there was no Edward and Danielle, where there was no John and Kimberly, where there was no David and Catherine, and where there was no Adrian and David. Anybody want to Take a shot now. You could probably knock us down, couldn't you? Because this is what the enemy wants. The enemy wants us to isolate. The enemy wants us out of community because this is where we can be picked off. Thank you.